What time is it? It's Sampstra Games time. We're gonna play a brand new game on this channel called the Deck of Ashes. Now, if you watched me play Slay the Spire, this is a similar game. It's a roguelike deck builder. But this game has one feature that I absolutely love. So, in other games like Slay the Spire, what would happen is that you would, after every fight, you would get a card. And that card would go into your deck of cards. But here, when you get a card, it's only like a recipe. You don't use it yet, you need to craft it. So what does that mean? Well, in these other games, what would often happen is that you would get a card that you would take in hopes that it will work with your deck of cards, but it wouldn't actually work at the moment. You would need a different card to get a synergy. And that could be a problem, because if you don't get the other card, you would have a really bad or ineffective deck of cards that you would be playing with. Here, instead, since you need to craft the cards, you can wait till you get enough recipes for a certain archetype. And once you get all the cards you need, then you craft them all at once and you'll start playing that particular archetype. And I think this is really cool, because this allows you to kind of be way more, I would say, picky and kind of wait it out and see, okay, I can do this archetype or that archetype and play it out. And I love that. Now, this game is currently in early access. There'll be a lot more stuff adding to it. But I think it has the potential to be absolutely huge. Now we have the normal playthrough, and then we also have this up here, which is like a official plug-in-ish thing, where essentially for 2 weeks you have like a special playthrough that you can play, and after it's gone. Never seen again. Bye-bye. So I think this is really cool. We'll play it later, but first I want to show you kind of like the basic games. I want you to see how this works. So let's start. There is a prologue, which is kind of like a tutorial. We'll just skip it because I'll tell you all about it myself. So let's start a new game. Let's go. Now, there will be 3 characters. Currently we have only one, Lucia the Eternal Flame, but like I said, there will be more. Burned alive for the outcast, accidentally releasing the ash curse on the world, Lucia rose like the legendary phoenix, becoming one with the flame but eternally tormented by it. Lucia, as the pyromancer, seeks to regain her peace and will scorch anything and anyone who stands in her way. And what I loved about this game is that the story of the character fits with the playstyles that you're given for that particular character. So you can see that she's a pyromancer. She has a lot of burning cards. She's also very she tends to, her cards hurt her, so she has like a strain archetype where you're essentially hurting yourself to do certain thing. That again pretty well fits with her personality, as you'll see in a second. So I do like that. There's a lot of cool stuff this way that the story really fits into the thing. So, and before I start playing the game, I gotta say thank you so much to the developers for giving me a key. And now let's go. Now we have 4 difficulties: Wonder, Raider, Adventure, and Martyr. This is like, Wonder is like very easy, Raider is like easy, Adventure is like normal, and Martyr is like hard. The main differences are on the HP that you have. On Adventure you have no more health, on the lower ones you have higher ones, and also there is something called Resurrection Right that you can pay for with the gold, and that will allow you, if you die, to continue in your camp. Otherwise you'd have to restart the game from the start. If you're playing as the lower difficulties, you don't need the Resurrection Right because you will continue, start again from the same chapter or stuff like that, so it's not that important. We'll play on normal. If you're playing on like the Martyr, the hardest, then you cannot perform Resurrection Right. We'll go with Adventure because I want to focus more on like explaining things to you, so sometimes you can just like, you know, not see something and kill yourself. So that's why we have this. And it's a normal feature in the game. It's not like cheating or anything. So let's go. Let's go. And I didn't think this game is really cool. I quite like it. Currently there are like 3 main archetypes.
Since the dawn of time, people with a magical gift had a target on their backs. We instill fear, and fear breeds malice. I learned to conceal my talent the hard way.
Yeah, well, look at that. There's a bunch of people trying to attack her. Not great.
I trusted my fiancé and revealed my secret. And that same day, I was laying in the mud, surrounded by a mob of bloodthirsty loons. Rusty pitchforks and blazing torches pointed at my face.
I mean, come on, that's sad.
That day, I killed for the first time.
Yeah.
I managed to escape and join the outcasts. A gang of hardened pariahs like myself. Wherever our righteous anger took us, we settled the scores in blood.
Doesn't look much like a hardened pariah.
When we
oh,
broke
now
that
she does.
damn box and released the ash curse, the simple folk blamed the mages. The witch hunt ensued, and a week hadn't passed before I ended up at the stake.
Ooh, not great.
I was burned to the cheerful cries of peasants, but those
kind of
turned
fun.
into screams of terror as I suddenly rose from the ashes.
Wow.
The curse gave me power. It made me one with the flames of retribution that swallowed my offenders.
Okay.
The curse gave me power, but it played a twisted joke on me. The pain I suffered at that stake, it stayed and defiles every moment since my rebirth.
Yeah, that's rough. I mean, she feels the pain of being burned at the stake all the time.
The prophet, he found me on his own. He assures that Lady Death can rid me of pain. If this is true, I will make her do that. He asks me to kill Lady Death, and he says that it will break the curse.
She speaks very calmly considering she's in pain all the time.
This world, it's full of scoundrels, and I'd enjoy watching their torment. But if regaining my peace means ridding them from the curse as well, screw it, let it be so.
I start to regret we took a short path. The human realms, once the lands of prosperity, descended into madness and anarchy. But it is too late to turn around now. We set up a camp and plan our next steps. The curse and famine did not spare human minds. The possessed, cannibals, and bandits. We are in a great company. King Octavius proclaimed himself a god, and his subjects now are but fanatics and cutthroats. When we crossed the river, I saw his sentries. The Mad King knows that we've paid him a visit, and he does not like uninvited guests. We should expect his retinue of maniacs to strike within a couple of days. Let us use this time and prepare for the fight.
So this is the camp, and essentially you start off with having certain recipes. So what recipes do we have? We have Lesser Sacrifice, which is amazing for discarding archetype. Discards all cards in your hand and deal 5 damage on opponent for every card discarded. So you might say, what is a card discarding? Well, we have 2 deck of cards. We have Battle Deck and Deck of Ashes. And every time you use a card, the card will be moved into the Deck of Ashes, and then you cannot use it until you run out of cards, in which case you'll get a special card called Ash Pact, which will allow you to move the cards from Deck of Ashes, only 5 of them, to the Battle Deck. So that's really important. And discarding a card is when you take a card from your hand and without using it, you move it to the Deck of Ashes. Now we start off with cards like Blazing Torch, which deals damage. It is a Phoenix card, which means that when you play this, it goes straight back into the Battle Deck, not the Deck of Ashes like everything else. Then we have Healing, which applies regeneration. At the end of the character's turns, regeneration restores 4 health points, and it affects for 5 turns. Burning deals 2 damage for 5 turns, and Fireball is just straight up damage for 3 mana. This beginning is the same for everybody. Then you have the recipes, which is the feature I was talking about, cards that you do not have in your deck of cards yet, but you could craft them using this resource down here, Ash, and use them. Now we have Lesser Sacrifice, which, like I said, is great for discard archetypes. I would say there are like 3 main archetypes that are kind of like working well at the moment, very well at the moment. There's some others, but I don't think they're that easy to set up. If you know a different archetype you find it easy to set up, write down in the comments. So first one is discarding, and this card is very powerful for that. Second one is straining. Straining is essentially you hurt yourself in order to do some damage. You have certain strain cards, for example, deal 4 damage to you but 10 damage to the enemy, and this allows you to not take damage from the strain card. This is very powerful for strain archetype. This card is not very interesting, increases crit chance, which we don't really care much for, but and the third archetype is burning. You can apply a lot of burns, but I think burning might be a bit more difficult. You need some really powerful cards to make this work. For discarding, this is the most powerful card you need. For straining, this is powerful, but there's one more card called Burn for Me, which makes your enemy take the damage for your straining cards, and that's way more powerful. So if we get Burn for Me, we might go for the strain archetype. Otherwise, it seems like we'll go to the discard one. So then you can buy recipes from the merchant. So you can see we already have an option for another Wrath of Phoenix, or this is, which is good for straining. This is very good for discarding. So it discards a random card from your hand but renews a different random cards from your hand. Boon increases your strength by 1 until the end of battle. While you have 2 or less strength, this card has Phoenix. Ooh, so you can increase your strength by 2 for free every battle. And then by 1 more... No, then you can always do it for free, but you have to renew this card. This actually is a pretty good card. But we only have 20, so we can only pick one thing. This is the first chapter is not that hard until you get to the boss. It's fairly easy. You don't need a special cards. This card helps because you can, if you use a good trick, you can increase your healing. Shield is also fantastic because it stops an enemy. It stops one enemy stray card from hurting you. All of these cards are great. I'm going to start this off with Primordial Fire, and I'm going to craft it immediately. But if we get more money, I might go back to the merchant and buy all 3 of these cards because they all seem pretty good. This is good for straight archetype, and since I don't know what archetype I'm going for yet, I might want to buy it anyways. Usually end up with a lot of money, so you don't need to worry too much. And this could be really interesting, the boon thing. Now, we are going to straight up craft the Primordial Fire. It's going to cost us 20 ash, and now we have it in our deck of cards, in our battle deck. Now, then you leave the camp. Okay, so now we're at the map. Now you have this meter up here that tells you that it's going to be moving a little bit, and once it goes to the end, you will fight the ruler. Now you can move however you want in this map. You do not get a new recipe after every battle. You only get it once you move through these chests. And you have 3 types of tiles. You have battles, well 4 chests. Then you have question mark, which gives you random event, monster battle, on an unoccupied tile. On unoccupied tiles, you can mine for resources, one of these 4. So keys you get after battles, ash we get from battles as well and from special events, and money we get from battles. And then these 4 is something you can mine for. This allows you to get different upgrades, so merchant, ashmaster, herbalist, or blacksmith, which we saw all in the camp. But at the moment, you rarely get enough resources to be able to do many upgrades, if any, so you don't need to worry about it too much. So we're gonna start this off by going down through this question mark this way up to this fight. Actually, maybe even down, yeah, up to this fight probably. So we'll start this off with here and then we'll go to the other fight. I totally went differently than I said, but it's fine. It's fine. I'll show you the fight. So we have a guard. His crit chance is increased by 5%. Crit chance gives you like higher damage, -2. And he's gonna deal 3 damage. This damage is based on the total strength of all humans. Okay? So we'll start this off with the fireball. And then it goes straight to the deck of ashes, so we cannot use it again. And then we'll use the blazing torch. Now, what is very important, at the end of your turn, you're not losing, the cards are not going back to the deck of ashes or somewhere else. They will always remain in your hand unless you choose to return some of them. Now, so we cannot use more fireballs in one turn because we only have 5 mana tops. This is how much the card costs. So we're going to take all of these fireballs and put them to the bottom of our battle deck. So we will get a different card. Now he's hitting us for 3 and now he's increasing his strength. That's okay. Now we're going to use healing. And then we're going to try to use the Primordial Fire. And the trick is, the way this works is this is going to discard a card. So then we're going to have 3 different cards here. And then it's going to renew 1 card from this set. So you have 33% chance of getting the healing again. And this is a good trick that you can use. Yeah, we got the Fireball, but a good trick is if you're on the first turn and you get the Primordial Fire with the healing, you have 50% chance to get the healing back. Which is pretty powerful because you can heal yourselves very quickly. Now, we're only going to have 5 cards, now you can have up to 6 in your hand. Well, you draw up to 6. So you get these ash bags. This hurts you for 20, which is a lot, but it renews 5 random cards. So we only have 4 in the deck of ashes now, so we want to use the Fireball first. Now we have 5, and now we use the ash bag. It costs 0 mana. And then we're going to use the Blazing Torch, which just moves it back to the battle deck. And we'll get rid of all of these cards. We want the other cards. He's increasing his strength again, but we should be able to kill him. Wow, he's really increasing his strength. We'll use the Blazing Torch again. And we got a Christian, so we kill him straight up, which is fantastic. Now we've gotten a key, ash, and money for it, which is amazing. Now at the end of a battle, you get rest points, which you can use for renewing new cards. We currently don't have any, or for healing. Now, we don't really need to heal much, but I heal. Now, this is why it's very important to always use the ash bag, because the ash bag costs you, well, almost always costs you 20 HP to renew 5 cards. Now, renewing 1 card costs you 1 rest point, so we'd have to pay 5 rest points to renew 5 cards. But if you use the ash bag, you only pay 2 rest points to regenerate the 20 HP that you use. So that's why it's a very good idea. Now you can see we have a lot of leftover rest points. This is fairly common for the first chapter. If you have leftover rest points and enough ash, you can craft stuff here. For example, we could craft the Lesser Sacrifice, but we're not going to do it just yet because we don't know what archetype we're going for just yet, and we don't have enough ash. So we're going to end this, and we can search for resources. We could get goblets, which allow you to upgrade for merchants. So I'm going to do it, but I don't really have too much faith on the fact that we'll have enough resources to actually get any upgrades. We're going to go towards this chest. We can unlock it, and it's going to give us money, and it lets us choose. So we can choose a recipe. We can get shield, power of the burn. This is interesting with the burn archetype, but this is if you burn yourself, so maybe not. And this is another great thing for straining. Now, for the strain guys, I'm going to go with the shield because I quite like the shield. It can protect you from damage, so that's really cool. But we could have gone from the strain as well. We'll start this off with the fireball at the first rat and the blazing. Now I'm playing with the speed mode, which means that their animation are speeded up and shorter. If you play yourself, you can do regular mode, so the animation are more detailed and nicer. But I feel like the speed mode is kind of better. So we're gonna do the healing and try to do the primordial fire trick again. We'll see if we get lucky. Yeah, we got the healing this time. And then we're gonna go with the fireball. We can kill off this first rat, so it's not gonna hit us. And now we only have 1 rat to worry about. There's no point in returning any cards because you can see we only have 3 here, so we're gonna have 5 in total. So even if I return them, we would get all of them back because it's less than 6 cards. So there's no point in using it right now. And this is kind of the trick I was talking about. If I use the ash bag, and now I use the healing, I'm going to be healing myself twice. So I have 8 healing for 4 turns because this is going for 4. And the enemies in the first chapter, they tend to hit for less than 8. So you can have a benefit it could be a good idea. For example, right now, it's actually a pretty good idea for me to just not do anything, maybe not even hurt the rat, and just wait it out because I'm healing for 8. For the 3 following turns now, and they're hitting me for a lot less, so I'll be healing myself every turn, which is very cool. Now I will be, so if for example the good idea would be to only use the blazing torches, that's going back to the battle deck. However, I will want to use the ash pact at least 1 more time, so I'll use the fireball. Actually, I can't use the fireball because then I'll kill it. Okay, I'll use the... Okay, fine, we'll just end the turn, heal ourselves a little bit so I can show you how it works. We'll get 1 more card. We will not get the ash pack, but since we'll have more than 3 rest points at the end of the fight, it doesn't matter. But now he wants to summon 2 lesser rats with 5 health points each. That is actually not good for us, so I am gonna kill him now with the blazing torch, and then the burning will finish him off, because you don't want him to get his friends to get more rats. But if he didn't get rats, it could be a good idea to just kind of wait it out. So he's gonna die through burning, and we are at 88 HP, and we need to renew 3 cards. We did not get any key this time, which is a little sad, so I'm going to renew all of these and I can heal myself to full HP. Still have 1 rest point left. Now, we could actually craft one of these now, but I'm not going to do it because it's a good idea to, especially at the beginning in the first chapter where you don't need to craft anything, you are able to win with the cards you have, to not craft too many new cards because you don't know what archetypes you're going for and you don't know how many cards you will need to craft towards the end. So it can be a good idea to just try to keep up your ash and don't worry about it so that you can later use the ash for the stuff that you'll actually need. Now, which way do we want to go? This is a teleportation. We teleport ourselves to here, for example, and have a battle, a medium battle here, then keys, and then we'll go down that path. So you can teleport to here. It cost us 1 hour. Once this turns to 24 hours, what will happen is that the camp will get restored. We found some ash, cool. And we have an Ash Storm, that's amazing. Now, Ash Storm is a special time-limited opportunity. It usually disappears in 3 turns, and it allows you to go for a certain card. So we can look at what cards we have. We have Pyroglyph, not very interesting. Then we have Scroll of Fantastic for the discard archetype, because it's a non-playable Ash card. So what does that mean? That means that if this card is in the deck of Ashes, it does have the effect. If it's in your battle deck or in your hand, it does not have the effect. When any card is discarded, deal 5 damage to random opponent. Now, if you remember the Lesser Sacrifice card, this one, it discards all the cards in your hand. So, for example, we could discard 6 cards. So, if we have this, we can do additional 30 damage. Then we also have this card, which at the end of your turn deal 3 damage to the opponent with the lowest health point. This is good because you only heals enemies every turn, even if you're not currently discarding, but this is much, much better. If you don't like any of these cards, you can also go here. This will allow you to get more Ash. However, and you have to do it in 3 turns. You can see this says here, disappear in 3 turns. So we're going to go down here, and we're going to grab that. We're going to fight a battle first. So we have a Succubus. When any card is discarded, Succubus applies a burn on the player. So Succubus can be difficult for the discarding archetype. But we didn't really worry about it too much at the moment. She restores health for us, which is nice of her, but discards the top card of the player's battle deck, so we will need to use the strains a bit more, the Ash packs a bit more often. I'm gonna do burning, and then I'll use the primordial fire. I will just get another fire burn, but I do like the damage I can do to her, so I am going to get burned a bit, but it's not that big of a deal. Like I said, these beginning fights are fairly easy, so you don't need to worry too much about it. We will go for healing and a fireball, then we'll use the Ash pack. So healing for the same amount that we're burning, that's fine. She's gonna hit us for 5 to 7. We want to get rid of all these fireballs. Or you can see she's already down to 29 HP, so. We'll take another healing. We'll go with the fireball and a burn on her. So now she's burning for 4 as well. We're burning together. I'm healing for 8, burning for 6, so it's still better. And I'm gonna go with the Ash Pact, Fireball, and Blazing Torch, which will allow me to kill her. And we can again heal ourselves to full HP. And renew the 1 card we need to renew. That's it. Now we're gonna grab this card now. This is fantastic. Now I have enough money. So this disappears in 1 turn, so there's no point going in. So I'm going to go towards this. And then I'll go to the camp and I'll actually buy some of the other cards I wanted to buy. We have an event. You return 1 fewer card for 3 battles. I noticed the monster before it can attack me. I have the initiative, the opportunity to strike first. But this beast is larger than the ones I've had to fight so far. Stronger, crueler. I have no choice. All I can do is attack. If I try to run, it will hear me. I sneak up to the beast, my intent gaze never leaving it for a second. Poison saliva drips from its fangs. It is digging in the dirt with its claws as if it's getting ready to fight. As if it smells me. This is impossible. I have almost no chance of victory, but maybe, just maybe. If I attack from the rear, my chances will increase. I get ready to pounce on the monster. It suddenly turns around and rushes at me with a roar. I mess up my courage to the sticking place. What? I don't know what that means. This is going to be difficult, but I will prevail. I will suffer. I have no idea what that meant. I'm confused. Let's just ignore that then. So we'll go towards the camp and we'll just grab it, because after it's 24 hours, the merchant will change his stuff, and we actually kind of want this. I'll buy both the shield and the Wrath of Phoenix and this, in case we want to go down that path. I don't know if we will, just in case we'll grab all of those. Okay, what do we get here? Ooh, more strain though. All of these are good. Reduce the Ashes is pretty good with, again, with the discard archetype, because once you have enough cards, you're gonna have like the cards like these. The Scroll of Inspirations, you want to keep them in your deck of Ashes, so then you can have, for example, 10 of them there, and then if you use this card, you can do a lot of damage. This is great for straining. Now this you might say, why would you want to do that? Like, you hurt yourself for a lot, just draw cards. But if you can get the Burn for Me card that will hurt your enemy, this will allow you to do 30 damage to your enemy and get more strain cards, because usually strain cards cost 0 mana. This is greater generally for discarding. I will take... I think we're going more the discarding part, so I'll take the reduce to ashes. But the inner flame, if he can get burned for me, then we're probably going to go for the strain archetype, and then the burn for me. The thing we had there would have been epic, but hard to tell at the start. 5 to 7 damage. 5 damage increases dodge chance. Dodge chance gives him chance to, like, dodge an attack, essentially. We'll keep the healing in our hand, we'll use it next turn. Reduces the player's speed by 1 until the end of battle. Now, this up here tells the order of the way we play, and it's dependent on the speed. So once he's going to reduce my speed, the 2 enemies will actually have 2 consecutive turns. That's something to think about when you're fighting them. Let's use the blazing torch. And then we use the primordial fire and hopefully get healing again. No, we get a fireball, but it's fine. Yeah, so they're going to have 2 consecutive turns now. Because he's going to lower my speed, and you can see that we're going to move to the end, and the turn order will change, so now they go again. Your card costs 1 extra mana point to play. That's okay. We'll kill this guy off so he cannot hurt me anymore. We cannot do anything else because this costs me too much. There's no point in returning any cards because we just get them back. We'll use the Ash Pact. And we'll use a fireball. And that's it. Oh, I should have got rid of the fireballs, but it's fine. He's not hitting for much, so we'll use regeneration, try to primordial fire again. Now we just get a fireball. I will use the fireball on him though. Now again, he's hitting me for less than 8. So it could be a good idea to wait it out, but even if we kill him next turn, we do get this healing. So we'll actually... Oh no, let's call to the player's battle deck. Now these things are ailments. And they're really bad. They can either ruin your mana, or do damage to you, or slower your speed, or stuff like that. So you wanna... And it's really hard to get rid of them from your deck of cards, because you cannot remove cards from your deck of cards unless you get an upgraded. Like I said, it's really hard to get. So you really need to finish the fight before that. And there is a special card that allows you to remove ailments, but it's ideal if you can just avoid getting any. You can also get passive ailments from fighting on a certain location, and that location is a swamp. So it can be a good idea to look like, yeah, we're fighting in town, that's fine. We could get goblets, let's try to get them. Now we could go down here. We're gonna go down here. This is a village, and I want to get a key here, and then we'll do a medium battle over here. We'll go down. Okay, we have... This guy, every time I heal myself, he increases his strength, and when he dies, there's going to be new enemies. And this is the guy that, again, can give you the ailment. So we'll focus on this one first, and we will try to not heal ourselves unless it's necessary. So we don't want to use the regeneration here too soon, because if we did, this guy would just increase his strength significantly, so we don't want to do it. But the ailments are worse than his strength, so we'll focus on the ghost first. So go with the fireball and another blazing torch. And next turn I can kill off this guy. We don't want the healing. And then we can worry about the skeleton. And when he dies, he'll summon a lower skeleton with 5 health points. So I'll kill this one with blazing torch. And now I'm going to use the fireball on this skeleton. And at this point I might actually go for healing. Because if he increases his strength just a little bit, I don't mind too much. Because we can kill him quickly. We could actually kill him straight up with the fireball. Let's kill him straight up with the fireball and a blazing torch. Oh, how come I don't have enough HP? How about with this then? He gets this other body, but that's okay. Dealing 5 to 6 damage. We'll use the Ash Pact, kill him with the blazing torch, and then the only thing we need to use rest points on our HP, which is more than fine. We got another key, which is great. Let's heal ourselves. Like I said, I will not be crafting anything because I don't know what I want to craft yet. So, we'll go towards this, and we'll unlock it. Ooh. This is good for the burn archetype. We'll take Primordial Fire. And we'll go towards medium battle. Oh, what do we have? Fanatic. Summons a possessed with 15 health point, and our crit chance is increased. So we'll start this off with the Fireball and a Blazing Torch on him, as usual. And then we're going to focus on whoever he summons, probably. Okay, this guy is not overly difficult. When he dies, he'll summon an Imp, Succubus, or a Satyr, but his strength will not get increased or anything like that, so you don't need to worry about too much. I will still go on him first, because I can just kill him straight up, so he will not hurt me at all. But there will be a Satyr instead. Again, we can kill them fairly easily. I mean, for 6 to 8, but I'm healing myself. He's burning himself. Oh, this restores a random monster's health point by an amount equal to its strength. This effect is activated twice. Which, okay, we're gonna start this off with an healing, then an aspect so we can renew everything, then we'll use a blazing torch on this guy, and a fireball, okay, then burning on the other guy. Now we're healing ourselves for 8, which is pretty cool. And he's burning himself quite a bit. Applies shield on random human. Ooh, I'm a human. That should apply to me. I'll use the Primordial Fire because why not? Is he gonna give me a shield? Oh no, he's a human too apparently. No, he doesn't look that much like a human, but he's a human. So yeah, oh yeah, that was a mistake. The shield, what it does, that the first attack, it blocks it essentially, so I should have used the blazing torch first to turn off the 5 damage and then do the actual 10 damage. But it's not that big of a deal. We'll do another healing, do another ash pact, hit him for 3 with the fireball. So now we're healing ourselves for 12 for 1 turn, then we're gonna go down to 8. He's summoning a buddy, so we're gonna have to kill him. Increases random human strength by 2. Applies a shield on random human. Okay, we'll start this off with healing again. Do Primordial Fire. Okay, we just burned the fireball and got a fireball. And we'll kill this guy from the get-go. It's gonna give me a Satyr, which discards the top card of the player's battle deck. That's fine by me. I don't worry too much. Unless it's a healing card, then I'll be a little sad. But giving a shield on himself again. Okay, we'll do a blazing torch to kill off this guy. Oh, and fireball is gonna be useless. So let's use a liquid fire and... No. We gotta remove the shield, so we'll use the fireball even though it removes his shield and doesn't hurt him at all. And we'll use the ash pact as usual. Applies burn on a random monster and increases its strength by 6. He's probably gonna do it to himself, because I'm not a monster. And then again, he'll try to heal himself, but we will try to kill him. We'll do fireball and blazing torch, healing ourselves for 8. And then next turn we can just do fireball or something. Ooh, he healed himself for a lot because he has a lot of strength. So that's not great. But it's also not the worst thing in the world. Let's use the Primordial Fire. Oh, but he's gonna heal himself again. And he has a fairly high strength now. That's not great. But I am also burning him for 6 per turn. Yeah, he has very high strength now. So he's healing himself for such a high numbers. That's not great. Let's do a fireball, blazing torch, ash pact. And we need to really focus on hitting him now. Get rid of these 2 things. Instead of healing, I'll focus on hitting him because again, he can heal himself for like 20 or something. So that takes a while for me to do 2 damage wise. So okay, he's down to 18, burning for 4. So if we could... Oh, and he gave the shield to me. Nice. Burning himself some more. Oh, he's gonna summon a buddy, so we should be able to kill him this turn. Let's use fireball and blazing. Actually, we don't need to use the blazing torch. Yeah, we'll use it anyways. He's dead. And we got 2 keys, which is perfect. We'll renew this, heal ourselves to full HP. And now, okay, the ruler is looking for us. Once you move a little bit later in the meter, you can actually destroy some areas. Now we have 3 keys, so it would be a good idea to get to a chest that actually requires more keys. Because there's a chance that the reward will be better. Or like higher, like more money and stuff like that. We can get goblets here, so I'll try. So we'll move towards that chest. It will take a while to get there though, but I guess we'll try. Event. The herbalist has left the camp for 4 hours, chased by horror. The moon rises directly over the herbalist's tent. She's tormented by foreboding and cannot sleep. She tosses and turns on her cot in complete darkness, trying to calm herself. It's fine, everything's fine. Thick and heavy clouds cover the moon, and the howling of the wolves is suddenly cut short. Woo! No, that's not how they howl, but okay. The sudden silence suffocates the herbalist. She leaps out of her cot and screams, frozen on her lips, and walks outside trying to catch her breath. The camp is shrouded in fog. It is damp and suffocating. She gets a little shiver. She hears footsteps behind her. Someone has made their way into the camp. The footsteps are getting close. The wave of fear curses through the herbalist. She runs, grows short of breath, and loses her way. She does not stop until she becomes exhausted. She'll return to the camp. Whatever might have wandered through the camp that night, it's still safer than here in the endless forest. And that's gonna be it for this episode. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.